Doesn't look like any candle party in the Midwest. Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. Today we are recapping The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 12, Episode 19, Candle Wicks and Lunatics. Well, here we are with the big finale for Season 12. And we start off with some filler stuff. Oh my gosh, we have the obligatory scene at Kodo Insurance Company. Only this time it's a big board meeting. Vicky calls in her son Michael, who's been working for her, and Vicky's partner, I guess, makes a big announcement. Somebody is left the board, or maybe they fired him. I wasn't sure. They're replacing him with Michael. Yay, Michael, you're going to be on the board of directors now at Kodo Insurance, the company that your mother owns and has been grooming you for since you were in high school and long before you ever wanted anything to do with it. Surprise! Really? I mean, did we not all know that he was the heir apparent to the Kodo dynasty? And Vicky's partner, I think his name is Shah, I don't remember. He's acting so serious, and he's like, I mean, you know, this is very serious, Michael. Like, you need to take this seriously if you're going to be a board member now. And then what do? What does the board do? They all get into a big discussion about Vicky's personal life. Had me, lost me. Kodo Board of Directors. Not only is it inappropriate for you guys to be discussing Vicky's love life at work, but now her poor son has to be in on these discussions. Ew. Throwaway scene number 2. Kelly's mom, Bobby, gets a makeover. Yay! I didn't think she looked any different. Is it just me? Did she not look exactly the same before and after the hair and makeup team came? I don't know. I didn't see it. Throwaway scene number 3. Tamra and Ryan are going to her daughter Sydney's high school graduation. It's lovely, but of course none of that is going to be allowed to be filmed, so all we get to see is Tamra getting dressed and all nervous and her son Ryan coming over to pick her up. I don't know. It didn't really go anywhere, so... And now the big finale party that all the women of the show are obligated to attend. For the ladies of Orange County, it's Megan King Edmonds' King Collection launch party. Yes, Megan is stepping into the fast-paced world of candles. I mean, couldn't she have a clothing line like every other housewife? We have a lot of scenes with everybody getting ready for the party. Kelly is, I don't know if this is just to set us up for the fact that her marriage is ending, which we all heard in the news, but nothing this season would lead us to believe that. Michael's been better than ever this season, I thought. What's happening now as they're getting ready for the party is Kelly just is picking at every little thing he does and says, and there is nothing that he can do that would be right in her eyes. She's already decided that she's annoyed with him, and tonight's going to be a bad night for him. Now we get to see everybody arriving at the candle launch party. It is at the Monarch Beach Resort, which is where Tamra and Eddie got married. It's huge. It's very elegant and quite beautiful. And the guests start arriving and everybody's invited. I mean, everybody. Brianna and her husband Ryan are there. Lydia and Doug come and Lydia's mom Judy is there. Vicky and Steve, Peggy and Deco. Oh, when Vicky and Steve show up, Vicky's like yucking it up with the waiter. Is this a candle party? Because it doesn't look like any candle party in the Midwest. Come on, Vicky. Like, you're such a down-to-earth Midwestern girl. You are far removed from your Chicago roots, let me just tell you that. The ladies are talking to Kelly and Michael, and like I said before, Kelly is not feeling Michael. She does not want him there, and every word that comes out of his mouth, she cringes. And it's just, I guess sort of foreshadowing for what's happening, but it's kind of sad. Kelly talks to Peggy, and it appears as though they're getting along. Kelly's kind of apologizing. Peggy seems to be accepting it. Now, I say appear because I thought Tamara and Vicky were friends after Iceland, and apparently they hadn't spoken to each other since Iceland. Like a week ago, Tamara says that one of Vicky's friends said something in the press again about her family. So she's mad at Vicky all over again. So I don't know if these women are really making up or if they're just pretending to at the time. I don't even know anymore. David confronts Deco about the whole Cancergate thing with Peggy. David says, I was genuinely asking if she had cancer because I was confused. That's all. I didn't mean any harm by that. And Deco said, yeah, I know, it's fine. I made too big of a deal out of it, and I shouldn't have gone to talk to Shannon about it at the anniversary party. I'm sorry. And so they kind of make up, and then they're still talking, and Tamara walks up and she says to Deco, hey, I wanted to apologize to you. And Deco goes, I just apologized to him. David says, I don't need to be here for this, do I? He cannot wait to leave. Anyway, all Tamara wanted to say to Deco was, I'm sorry that I called you a little bitch. And Deco's like, okay, thanks. I don't even know if Deco knew. Whether he did or not, he was a really good sport about it, I thought. So then Tamara goes over to Peggy and she tells her, I talked to Deco and I just apologized to him. And I kind of understand a little bit better how things went that night. It was a little bit different than Shannon explained. Peggy's got this look on her face like, I figured Shannon twisted things around. So she says, what did she say? Tamara said, she said that you were really hurt by what David said and she didn't understand what David did wrong. And Peggy denies that she said anything like that. She's accusing Shannon of lying. So they're like, okay, let's get her over here right now. So Tamara calls Shannon over, and I love Shannon, but here's where it's hard for me to defend her. She cannot get out of her own way. She cannot. If she would just wait, take a beat. Just take a beat, Shannon. Hear what somebody has to say before you go all wackadoodle crazy. She's immediately all defensive. What did I say now? And oh God. It appears though that Shannon was right. Peggy actually did say, I was very hurt by David. And she said it a couple of times. Bravo shows us the tape of the weeks ago when she said it. Yeah, it does kind of seem like Shannon was right about that. Peggy's tongue-tied and doesn't have anything to say. Tamara's looking like, oh, I assumed Shannon was being overreactive, but maybe Shannon was right. And then Shannon says some very snarky, mean comment, and it's just like, oh my gosh, Shannon, I'm on your side, girl. I want to be on your side. But when you say things like, then why did you say you never said it? See, there you go, getting all confusing again, Peggy. It's very hard to defend you. If you would just bring it down a notch, maybe people would hear what you're saying instead of think you're crazy. She ends up walking away in a huff, and Peggy walks away in a huff, and then Peggy goes to get Deco, and she says, I want to go home. And he's like, why? What's going on, babe? What's happening? She tells him, and he is like the Peggy whisperer because he somehow calms her down, gets her to stay, and they call Tamara over, and between the two of them, they actually get Peggy to agree to go over and try to make up with Shannon, which I never thought would happen, but it doesn't go so well. Meanwhile, Kelly and Vicky and Shannon are standing around talking together. I don't know, Shannon is getting along with Vicky, at least well enough to be standing there having a conversation with her. And Shannon and Kelly, those two are funny together. They're getting along well enough to recreate 2 seasons ago, the 80s party or the 70s party, whatever it was, where Kelly called Shannon Mrs. Roper. There was that whole, who? You did. Who? You did. They recreate that whole scene. I thought that was hilarious. I was actually very proud of them. Super proud of Shannon for being able to take a joke, and proud of both of them for being able to kind of laugh at themselves for that. And then Peggy walks up. And Peggy gives this really ridiculous non-apology where she's basically apologizing for Deco's behavior. I mean, what kind of apology is that? I'm sorry that Deco made a big deal out of this and took you aside at the anniversary party. Okay. So Shannon just says, okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. And all the ladies are standing around now, and I know they're waiting for Shannon to say she's sorry for her part of it. But she won't. She won't, and there is an awkward silence for a real long time. And finally, I think it's Megan that says, let's go get a drink. So everyone just kind of goes over to get a drink. There's one more sad little scene with Kelly and Michael and Vicky. And Vicky's getting all in the middle of things, which she shouldn't. She is telling her, you know, marriage is really hard and you've got to work at it. And basically Kelly is saying, I don't want this life for myself. Knowing what we know now, that she filed for divorce, she probably was already at that place in her head. Vicky says some really stupid comment like to Michael, like, she really loves you. She tells me how much she loves you. To Michael, I'm sure she didn't. That doesn't even sound like Kelly. So she said yes, and she loves you and she trusts you. And Kelly looks at Michael and she goes, I don't trust you. And he goes, okay, I'm out of here. And he walks away, and it was just it was a bad scene. I don't even know why Bravo showed it, except for it to be the foreshadowing of what we know is the divorce, but it was awkward and uncomfortable and not entertaining, to be honest. The party ends, and we get our season final shots of each of the ladies. We start with Kelly. We find out that she sold her beach house and filed for divorce, which we kind of already know. Next, we have Megan's little blurb, and it says that she and Jim are apparently going to be going through the IVF again and trying for a little boy. I don't know. I just don't feel like Jim Edmonds is ever around at all, but whatever. I mean, to each his own. Shannon also has a sad epilogue. Hers says the rental house that the Bedores are living in has sold and they moved out into separate homes. Well, it's not like we didn't see that one coming all season long. Vicky's says that she and Steve are buying a vacation home together and that Brianna and her husband and the kids moved to North Carolina. So I'm sure Vicky is not happy about that one. Peggy's just says that her 2 daughters moved out and are going to college in Los Angeles and that they come home every week to get food and get their laundry done or something like that. I don't know. Lydia's is that she stopped taking the pill since Doug's got his balls cut off, and now she changed her mind and she wants to try for a little baby girl. So they're going to be defrosting some of Doug's sperm, which it's probably not even fully frozen yet. Tamra's epilogue is sad. Hers says that after Sydney's graduation, she went out to dinner with Sydney and Simon. Then it says that she and Sydney had another big falling out and they are no longer speaking to each other. So I feel worse about hers than anything else because that's your child. But that's how we wrap up season 12 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Thank you guys so much for taking this journey with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I love these ladies as much as they make me crazy. I really do love watching. Obviously, if they were all just kind and sweet to each other, that would not make a very good show. I think they really brought it this time. Kelly was way different than I expected her to be. And as much as I dislike Peggy, that's how I felt about Kelly after her first season. So anything's possible. The reunions, I am not sure if I'm going to recap the reunions or not. Mainly because I feel like the reunions are recapping the whole season anyway. And so for me to do a recap of what's a recap basically seems redundant. However, I mean, I do think we're going to find out about the divorces, and we'll find out if Tamra and Vicky are speaking to each other or if that's just never going to happen. And there are going to be some things like that. So if I feel like I have something to talk about with you guys, then I will do a little recap. Maybe they'll be brief. So look out for those, okay? And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this episode. And as always, comment down below. I love to hear everybody's opinions. Same, different, whatever. I want to hear about it. Let's start a discussion. Okay? Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.